Digital dive. The impeachment debate is raging on across social media this morning, but it could all be over soon. Today, senators are expected to vote on allowing more witnesses and documents. If all Democrats and independents vote yes, they'll need at least 4 Republicans to come to their side. Today, we're closely watching these 4 Republican senators: Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitt Romney, and Lamar Alexander. And yesterday, Collins said she'll vote for more witnesses. Reports indicate Romney will too. Murkowski said she needs to sleep on it, but Alexander says he's voting no. In a 15-tweet thread last night, Alexander acknowledged the House proved its case against Trump. There is no need for more evidence to conclude that the president withheld United States aid, at least in part to pressure Ukraine to investigate the Bidens. The House managers proved this with what they call an overwhelming mountain of evidence. But he wants voters to decide the president's fate. Our founding fathers, he says, documents provide for duly elected presidents who serve with the consent of the governed, not at the pleasure of the United States Congress. Let the people decide. Well, if there's a tie, Chief Justice John Roberts could break it if documents and witnesses are not subpoenaed. A final vote on whether to find President Trump guilty of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress could end the trial today. So, Chris, we knew this was coming, as you know, they were handing this off to the Senate. The Senate is Republican controlled. They needed Republicans to vote with them, and it doesn't look like Democrats have the vote at this point.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when you have a hearing and you know exactly how both sides are going to vote. You know, they should actually listen to what's happening before being, have their ideas already made up. But that's the way this one went.